the DNA narrative came out, at first I didn't take it serious because I was like, who is this guy asking for the DNA of my child? Like, who is in the grand scheme of things? Like,
Wunmi said, read my lips. Wunmi said, the night my husband died.
So, not so long ago, Cynthia Omonwo Adebanjo selected a podcast to appear on. Now, you need to profile her properly. I want you to take your time to observe eye contact, how effective our expression is in conveying the event. I want you to take note of some words. I know it could be uncomfortable, even if someone is guilty, with cameras facing you, and you know that people are watching to see if there's going to be a slip. And particularly if you are covering up, it can be very, 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 very difficult. But let us pretend and act like Cynthia is not guilty. Let us take our time to profile her in this talk show, because this is not like she was being interviewed. No, not at all. In fact, this is not an interview. It is basically a platform for her to come and hear out her thought or share whatever it is that is ongoing. And Chude did not really press hard. He tried not to get into the kind of situation that could prompt people to come on his platform and begin to drag him. Maybe something like that. Maybe that's what he did. I know that Chude is not that kind of person that presses too hard when you come to his podcast. He doesn't really want to press you that hard. But then there are certain questions that is expected if you are to grill someone who for over 365 days has kept on saying, I don't know what really happened to my husband per se. What I know is that there is a guy called Prime Boy that did not fight him but fought him. And there is a nurse. And there is something that is worthy of attention, is the part where she said that Mohbad's father told the nurse, I repeat, Mohbad's father told the nurse to go, that he does not have any business with the nurse, that she had said, this is the nurse, what should we do? Can we arrest the nurse? If this is true, because we know a lot of stories have been invented, a lot of things have been said, it is now going to be, she said it as a lie. I didn't say so. Or vice versa. We don't know what's going to happen. But this is what she's saying. That Mohbad's father had said, let the nurse go. I have no business with the nurse. Which is kind of unsettling with me. If Mohbad's father said, I went to the police station hoping that the police will arrest every one of us. Hoping. Or is this an afterthought? What did he go for? Forget it. Let me just go and put this boy under the ground. End of story. They have pied my son. Let it end there. I don't get it. And I want to get it. And I think we all can get it together if we pay attention to the narrative of Cynthia in this one. And let us combine and contrast everything together. Maybe we'll arrive somewhere that will give us insight. There is a lot of game being played on the reality of the demise of Mohbad. Let's get right into it.
What has been the saddest thing that has happened since this?
I feel like the saddest thing I've experienced so far is the fact that the person that's supposed to be in gag for my late husband, this person that's supposed to be my son and highest protector, is our chief prosecutor.
Right.
And he's been everywhere trying to, recruit people to turn against my son and I,
Yeah.
both online and offline. Like, it's been from one threat to another.
This is Mohbad's father you're talking about.
My father-in-law,
Your father-in-law.
Yeah, so it's been from one threat to another. We no longer feel safe. Like, I literally get death threat almost every day in my DMs. I barely go out. My baby, his grandchild also, he's been deprived of so many childhood memories, but there's nothing for me to do than just to see how things goes.
What's the problem with your father-in-law exactly?
Yeah,
Between you and him?
Yeah, so I feel like the problem is just about family disputes.
Okay, what do you mean?
The problem is more like a competition
Okay.
between him and Liam.
Between your father-in-law and your son?
Yes.
A competition?
It sounds funny, but that's the actual truth.
Can you explain that?
Yeah, because after the death of my husband,
Yeah.
a lot happened, and my father-in-law wanted to be in control
Of?
my husband's properties.
Right.
The fact that there is Liam in the picture, because there was one time I actually called him to ask him, like, what happened? What do we do to deserve all of this? Like, why have you been out there defaming your grandchild and me? And he was like, why do I have to take Liam away from him? Why do I have to take Liam to my mother-in-law's place on the island? That is my husband rented apartment.
Right.
That was not supposed to bring him over to meet him in a corridor, because himself and my mother-in-law, they are not in good terms.
Right.
Right. He was just trying to manipulate me.
Yes.
So,
yes. So your father-in-law and your mother-in-law are not on good terms.
Yeah.
Right. So he was not asking, why did you take the son
yes,
to the mother?
Yeah, after my husband's demise.
Yes, right.
So I explained to him, I made him understand that my mother-in-law has been the only one asking of Liam. He never did. Instead, he was always online, defaming us, and then I apologized to him.
Okay.
Yeah, I apologized. I told you I was sorry that I would bring him over to him.
When was this?
That was I think 3 weeks after my husband's demise. Then it was like I started going online talking about the DNA.
Yes.
And
So he had already started talking about the DNA.
DNA, yes. That was when I called him.
Right. That's when you now called him.
Yes. So he made me understand that why do I have to take Liam to my mother-in-law's place? Like, is it not the owner of his grandchild? Like, trying to make me feel like a bad person. But I understand where he was heading to. So I just had to apologize to him to make things, to make things calm. And I asked him again, like, what happened? Why are you doing this to me?
Right.
Then he responded by saying he's sure that a lot of people would have called me to tell me what he wants. And truly, a lot of people called me. My dad, my mother-in-law, my husband's friend, and few people we have around literally called me to tell me what he wants. And he told my father whatever that belongs to my husband, I know that I have access to, that I should make sure that I hand over everything to him, including the landed property he got for Liam. So I told him the same thing that he has been telling people, like, this is what these people are telling me. And I made him understand that, Daddy, you have, like, my husband got through 2 lands before his demise, one in Ekiti and one in Ikorodu. Like, why do you want to take the one that belongs to Liam?
Right.
Then he was like, I shouldn't question him, that is what he wants. Then I said, okay. Then he was like, what effort? He said it in Yoruba. I don't know if you understand Yoruba.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so he said, irú ayawoloko lawyer promise tí mo pè pé kó gbé nǹkan mú kó fún mi ní nǹkan mọ́ mi tó bá mi sọ wípé ó bímọ ṣé ọmọ mi náà fẹ́ máa lálẹ̀ fún mi ni. Like, I don't know if I can translate it in English. So he actually said, what effrontery does my lawyer?
Does your lawyer have?
My husband's lawyer has.
Right.
He requested for his son's properties, and he was telling him that he has a son. So who is his grandchild to start asking him to start dictating what he wants?
That's why you talk about the competition between
exactly.
him and the grandchild.
Yeah.
So he said to his son's lawyer, who is the grandchild,
to
challenge him
exactly
on Mohbad's
my husband's property. Yeah. But like, this is one thing that most people do not know. And, I was not even given the chance to talk. So I was not given the chance to say my own side of the story. So, so as much as I feel like, some things need to be addressed, I still had the mindset that I don't know how people would react if I should talk, because without hearing anything from me, they've crucified me. They've said a lot of things about me.
Yeah.
So, that alone has you know, made me like my low self-esteem to be very, very low because I no longer have the audacity to at least speak on things that really matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is one thing that has been causing the whole issue.
wọ́n ní mo béèrè fún placenta ọmọ ṣebí bàbá ọmọ ló lọ́mọ àdàbí abèrè wo àdàbí àbí wọn o àdàbí abèrè wo èmi ò mọ wọn sọ pé mo ṣe tó fi rọjò mi ká.
The fact that Liam is in the picture. Yeah.
But this is his grandchild.
It sounds strange to me also. It will sound weird to say it, but I'm left with no choice. I just have to say it as it is.
Yeah.
Because it has really gotten to a point that it's either I speak up or I die in silence. Yeah. So I feel like me speaking up will be the right thing for me at this point.
The biggest thing that I think, based on what I've read, your father-in-law has, I think there are two things that I have heard. I don't know if they are from him. One is that he has questioned whether yourself and your husband were married. Yeah. And two, he has questioned whether your husband is the father
Of my
Liam.
child.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the first one, I know that as far back as 2003, if I remember correctly, a popular actress had gone online and confirmed that you guys were married,
Yeah.
What is the exact status of that marriage thing? Because I think that's the first thing that your father-in-law
I
has
spoke
questioned.
about, it was a traditional marriage,
Right.
yeah.
Which is recognized under the
Of
law.
course it is.
Right. So it wasn't an introduction you did.
No, it wasn't. The funniest thing is that he was even the one that made that possible. I mean, my father-in-law.
How so?
That is the funniest thing because left to me and my husband, we just wanted to live our life because we were young couples. Like I was 23 when I got pregnant.
Right.
And so he was the one coming to us because that man is actually my friend. Like we were literally close.
Yes, I've seen some text messages.
We were very close. Like he's like a father to me. That is one thing that the media did not get to know. He's like he was my friend in that marriage. So he was even the one that came to me to tell me that I'm like now that I'm pregnant that we need to get things done. That if I was to be his daughter, he would never allow me to train my child in my husband's house because he was not married, because he's not married to me. That I should go to my parents' house. I should get a list and send it to him.
So your father-in-law is the one that even encouraged you guys to
That
get
is the
married.
funniest thing. Left to me, I won't get married because I knew my husband loved me and he knows I love him too. So we just want to live our life.
Right.
So he was even the one that initiated that marriage.
Right. And he was present, of course, during the marriage.
He was the happiest. He called me early morning on my introduction, on my marriage, on my engagement day, I think around 6 a.m. He called me to pray for me like it was the happiest that day. He was the happiest.
And now he's saying that marriage did not happen.
Yeah, because my husband is not here to defend me.
bàbá mi mo ní kó wá ràn mí lọ́wọ́ káyé má bàa fi mí ṣajá ọdẹ because bájá ọdẹ bá pẹ̀ràn ṣe bóun rorò ni wọ́n fún jẹ káyé má ṣe fún mi ní kòrò jẹ o a tún máa wí. Wọ́n ní mo béèrè fún placenta ọmọ ṣebí bàbá ọmọ ló lọ́mọ ṣe bọ́lọ́mọ ló ní ìgbàjà. Àdàbí àbí wọn o. Àdàbí abèrè wo. Àdàbí àbí wọn o. Àdàbí abèrè wo. Èmi ò mọ wọ́n sọ pé mo ṣe tó fi rọ́jò mi ká.
Yeah.
When's the first time he asked for a DNA test in public?
So when the DNA negative came out, at first I didn't take it serious because I was like, who is this guy asking me for the DNA of my child? Like, who is in the grand scheme of things? Like, this guy is nobody to us. So why is he asking for the
Who is the
paternity?
person that asked?
I don't want to mention his name.
Right. Was this a blogger?
Like social media.
One of the social media content creators?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Then I was like, why is he asking for the DNA of my child?
Yeah.
So at first I didn't take him serious. Not until my father-in-law started talking about it, and I had to put a call through to him. I called him. I asked him again, like, Daddy, what really happened? Like, why are you doing this to Liam? And he kept on saying, why do I have to take him to my mother-in-law's place? Does it bear my mother-in-law's surname? Like, what effort do I have to take him to my mother-in-law's place and not his own house in Ikorodu? Is he not the owner of his grandchild? You know? And I still try to tell me, Daddy, I'm scared because you've been going out there to say different things about me. But I'm scared. Like, you know, you cannot keep doing this and expect me to bring Liam to you. Then he was like, okay, what's the problem? And, you know, he hung up. So I was expecting him to talk about the DNA, but he never did. So I think, no, the next day he went on live on TikTok, on Instagram live to talk about the DNA again. Like, he was literally talking about it like almost every day. So I think 3 days after I called him again. Like, I wanted to ask him, like, what does he really want? Like, I really want him to stop going out there to defame my baby. But he didn't pick up my calls. I called him repeatedly for like a week, but he did not pick up. So I stopped calling. So I think around November, it was around November, he sent a message to my lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah, he sent a message to my lawyer that I should bring Liam to him, that he want to perform a DNA test on him. So my lawyer sent him to me, and I told my lawyer that I am scared. Like, I'm scared to take my baby to him because he has gone out there to say so many defamatory things about me. He has said it publicly that he hates me so much. He even went as far as trying to cajole my brother-in-law to lie, like to implicate me one way or the other. You know, yeah, because, you know, he said it online that I used to put substance in my husband's food.
Who said this?
My father-in-law. Then I would go and F around after. Because he never knew it was my brother-in-law that prepared my husband's last meal. So when he got to realize that it was my brother-in-law, he put a call through to my mother-in-law. But fortunately, I was with her that day. So he just called to tell her that, he just got to know that it was Adura that prepared my husband's last meal. That Adura and Mama should come over to his house in Ikorodu so they will know how to package the whole thing and put it on my head. I was so fortunate to be with Mama that day because I had to put it on record. And, you know...
So you have a recording of this?
They should, you know, so that they will know how to put the other on my head. What if it was poison that killed my husband? Okay.
Why can't you do the test without him?
The reason is because I've been called different names. He has called me a promiscuous woman. He has called me a cheating wife. You know, I've been called different names that people tend not to believe whatever I have to say anymore. Like, he has said so many things to my persons, and I feel like if I should get the DNA done without his consent, without him being present, that will cause another riot. That will cause another problem, because, you know, that is what he actually want me to just do one silly mistake, because he knows that, you know, I already caught him. I'm about to stop his means of surviving. And he knows that once, so now he just want to frustrate me to do things out of anger. So he want to frustrate me to go ahead and do the DNA. So once it is done, then he will start going out there that, the result is fake. And people will believe him because he's been the only one talking. Do you understand?
I get that. But do you think even if it's done in a reputable hospital, he will still be able, people will still believe him? Because if according to you, he's trying to frustrate it.
I don't think you, do you go online often and often?
No, I don't.
My father-in-law is now a celebrity. He's everywhere.
So I don't understand what you are dealing with.
People, he's at least in a week. At least he do great interview. I think, if I'm not mistaken, like 2 or 3 times in a week. So people tend to listen to whatever he has to say because he has been the only one talking. The rest of the family has just been silent, you know, because of the legacy of my husband. You know, there is no way we would talk or say anything that my husband's name will not be attached to it. You know, right now as I'm here, I'll be addressed as Mohbad's wife or Mohbad's widow. So his name is attached to whatever. So the glory, you know, is being attached. So I don't want his legacy to get ruined from me. But I'm very sure that is why the other family member has been quiet. Yeah. And, you know.
So what are you going to do? Because if I understand what you're saying that because of the way that he has mobilized public sympathy, anything you do now will be misinterpreted. So you're being careful. Yeah. But it seems like he leaves, you know, because what you're saying is he doesn't want to do the DNA.
He doesn't.
So it feels like You have no other. So what other choice do you have?
That is why I'm here. Like, I feel like there should be an organization protecting children in Nigeria, because I know that all of this thing happening to Liam can never happen abroad.
Now that so he's gone to TV stations.
Yeah.
He said this. So what happens next now?
Okay, so myself and my lawyer will be going to the court to report this whole incident to the court, and to also get the permission from the court to get DNA done under their supervision.
Right. So the court will supervise this.
Yes.
So your lawyer is deciding that you guys are going to the court to say, let's do this DNA.
Yeah, under your supervision.
Under your supervision, right.
Yeah, and we might probably, we don't know, publish it online for people to see.
So you ask the court for permission to publish the DNA.
Yeah, so we can keep them updated on how
this is going.
The whole thing is going on, because I feel like my calmness will just make things worse.
Yeah.
In 5 years, we will be here till forever.
Yeah.
And no DNA will be done because it seems uninterested.
It seems that ever since Mohbad died,
yeah,
you have not even had time to grieve your husband.
I've not even won the death of my husband. Like, I've not even seen closure at all. You know, it still feels like my husband is still alive because he's in Yaba morgue. He has not been buried.
He has not been buried.
Yeah, he has not been buried. He has not been buried. It's so sad. He has not been buried. And he's been in pieces twice. You know, they literally did 2 autopsies. The government autopsy and the private autopsy my father-in-law did.
Yeah.
And I can tell you for a fact that there is no genuine reason why he's still there. My father-in-law has no genuine reason. But, you know, he's been granting interviews saying, oh, the government do not want him to get justice. The government is this, the government is that. Like, he's been manipulating the public. Like, he has said so many things. That you know, people, like, I don't feel like there's anything that people would say that people would, like, the people in public faces would believe again, because a lot has been said. You know, he's been granting interviews saying the government have been the one delaying my husband's the inquest. Meanwhile, it was one of his supporters that, like, the woman has been on, like, the woman is always on TikTok 247. Just, you know, all those American women. So the woman was so much interested in the case, and the woman later got to realize that my father-in-law was not being truthful to her. So she said she wants to, like, she's interested in the case, and she wants to have a personal lawyer to join the inquest. So the lawyer submitted an application to the coroner, to the magistrate courts, that he wants to join the inquest, and he also wants the inquest to start from the beginning again. Like, he wants us to start all over again.
That'll be a third process.
So the lawyer and the judge at the court has been, you know, there's been back and forth. That is why the inquest is on hold. But my father-in-law has been granting interview, manipulating the government.
So you're saying even your father-in-law is also part of the process that is delaying the burial?
That is the funniest thing.
That the burial of his son is being delayed also because of all this drama that your father-in-law is causing. And
he knows what to do to get things done. Like, all you have to do is just talk to that woman, because they used to be friends before they had issues. So all you have to do is just talk to that woman, so that the woman can, you know, probably withdraw, or, you know, so they can just make an agreement, so that the court can open the coroner inquest. But he has refused to do the needful. Instead, he was always going on interviews, screaming the government's name.
But he's the one delaying the process.
Himself, him and his supporter.
Do you accept the results of the coroner's inquest?
Man, that is another question. That is another oddful question, because I knew that there is a nurse involved in this case. You know, he reacted to rejection. And since my husband, even the night my husband died, that my father-in-law got to the house, you know, the nurse even narrated everything that happened to him. In fact, my husband's manager wanted to get the nurse arrested that night, but he asked us to let her go, that he does not have any business with her.
Your father-in-law asked them to let the nurse go?
That we should let her go, that he doesn't have any business with her. And, you know, despite the begging that a lot of people begged him not to bury my husband, but he insisted I was going to bury him. In fact, even the day they wanted to bury my husband, they didn't inform me. I got to know online.
You were not informed that you were going to bury your husband.
Mr. Chu, a whole lot has happened. Even the day my husband, even the day of his burial, they wanted to kidnap Liam from me at this scene. Like my father-in-law and there's one woman. The woman is like I don't know. I don't want to call it. The woman is, but they have a relationship. They have a close relationship. It's more like they had plans in collecting Liam from me that day, because it got worse to the extent that we had to put Liam inside nylon to take him out of that space.
So you're saying this battle you've been fighting started from the day
second day my husband died up to this moment. And so the fact that the autopsy results came out inconclusive is one thing that I don't, it's hard to accept.
Yeah.
Because I knew so well that my husband actually had an injury from the fight he had with his friend.
Which friend?
His name is Prime Boy.
Okay.
And I also knew that he reacted to an injection. Because my husband was fine before the nurse came, although he had an injury.
Àdàbí àbí wọn o. Àdàbí àbèrè wo. Àdàbí àbí wọn o. Àdàbí àbèrè wo. Èmi ò mọ wọ́n sọ pé mo ṣe tó fi ń rojọ́ mi ká. Ṣé bí bàbá wọn láyà ń lé. Àdàbí àbí wọn. Àdàbí àbèrè wo. Èmi ò mọ wọ́n sọ pé mo ṣe tó fi rojọ́ mi ká.
Welcome back. Now, the reason I played Mohbad's father, like inserted Mohbad's father's song, and for the benefit of those who do not understand the language in which he sang, he is simply being emotional and also kind of saying that that whoever it is that is peddling lies and innuendos and constructing all sort of darkness to him and of course his son. He said he doesn't know why they are peddling lies, going right, left, and center because he had requested for DNA and paternity test. He said, after all, it is my son, and I am the father of my son. So therefore, I have the right to request for the traditional, or let's say the accepted practices where they are from, Cynthia and Mohbad, that the placenta should have been brought to him according to what Mohbad said. And the game that played out later, he realized that these people are then taking over Mohbad's life in a way that he just didn't understand. Now, we can go at length about these things, but I just needed you to have a balance of emotion because Cynthia played out her own part of her emotion there. She didn't really say much of what happened to Mohbad, which I want to believe the host did not want to press her on that. He's a lawyer, even if he's not a practicing one, until he joined the podcast world. I'm talking of today. So kudos to him. He handled it in a way so as not to appear as if he's grilling Cynthia, which I believe a lot of people wanted. Like, hey, you should have grilled. If it were on Arise Television, it would have been a different thing. This is a one-man show. So he needed to be careful, unlike Arise Television, where you have a boss and your job is to grill. And if you are sacked, well, it is what it is. Now, there are certain things that I can go to. I can go to a lot of things, but let us pick on just some few of it because we cannot exhaust it all in this video. I believe very strongly that for the coming weeks, this matter will be on the table. I knew something was going to come up. Of course, I knew. That's the thing about justice for Mohbad. I knew something was going to come up. It's not going to die off because Mohbad's father is also going to request. I know he has been appearing on television, on radio, and he has been granting, and he has continued repeating what he has been saying without maybe including much. But I mean, it is what it is. So Cynthia talked about some things here that I want us to look into. I know that anyone can come up with story. People can spin. I don't forget that the Queen Mother is the mentor of Cynthia. So before she came here, she definitely had rehearsed on what she needed to talk about and touch on. But you know, at the beginning of the video, now people took in what she said and processed it in their own way. That she said that Mohbad died the night Mohbad died. In the night that Mohbad died. Now, it depends on how you want to vary it. I want to leave it to you guys to deal with, because there are some people who are saying she said Mohbad died in the night. Some are saying, oh, you said Mohbad died in the afternoon at the inquest. Now, let us put that aside. She is insisting that Mohbad's father is acting the way he's acting because Mohbad's father wants total control of the supposed accrued capital, wealth, money, cash of Mohbad, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter if it's land. He wants to be in charge. Now, she's telling us that Mohbad has a land in Ekiti. Mohbad's father has not really made mention of a land in Ekiti. Maybe I didn't pick that part of it. If you do, please drop the comment down that Mohbad has a piece of land in Ekiti. According to Mohbad's father, he has said that when Mohbad started buying, like he started with, I want to buy a car, expensive. I think it's Range Rover Vogue or something. Or is it Vogue or something like that? I told him, Mohbad's father said, don't begin with this like this. And if you want to, please make sure you have something solid, like land or house is important. And Mohbad said, I have land now. Now, I do not know the time frame, but some I'm thinking, is it possible for Mohbad's father to talk about land if Mohbad has a land in Ekiti? Maybe he would have said, I know you have a land in Ekiti, but you still need some kind of land in Lagos where we reside. Don't you think it is good you have something solid before you proceed in spending too much money on things that the value depreciates? What do you think, my son? Now, that is what I heard from Mohbad's father. Mohbad is not alive to confirm whatever private discussion between son and daddy. That's on one part. Then let us go to the part of Cynthia is misbehaving. Of course, audio recordings that we heard from Mohbad indicates that there are certain friction between both of them, and it has been established that this duo had some kind of serious catastrophe called relationship. Now, let's file that on another side. Now, if we also look at some train of events, let's go back a little bit from what we know. So problem started. NDLEAK, Mohbad had the boot of a gun hit on his head. It cost him some mental issues. He had to go to psychiatric hospital. In between, Cynthia was acting out of order. Is she acting that way because already problems exist between Mohbad's mother and Mohbad's father, and she's trying to play safe? Was she acting that way because she too is part of what is happening, the catastrophe that is befalling Mohbad? Is it that there are certain juju that she too, according to Cynthia's sister Karimo, introduced into the life of Mohbad to lock him down and to finish him? I mean, mentally, so he won't be in control of his mind. It's whatever it is that is said to him, he will listen to and act upon. Is that why she's in that? Or she's just possessed with this demon and she has been given the mandate, finish this one. This is your purpose in his life. What exactly is this thing? Let us move to the physical world and leave those spiritual things that maybe we don't have proof of. Let us move forward. Now, I also looked at the conversation so far between Cynthia and Mohbad's father. One of the conversation is a leaked audio where Mohbad's father kept quiet, saying nothing, and Cynthia had said a lot of things. Mohbad's father released the audio recording where Cynthia cursed and attacked Mohbad's father. In this She's saying it was after he did this and did that. And now she's saying that she has an audio recording where Mohbad's father told Adura and Mohbad's mother to come over to him so as to plot on how to put the demise of Mohbad on her. Now, talk about suspicion. It is not a crime for Mohbad's father to be suspicious of what died his own son. She said she has this audio recording. I'm kind of like still thinking, if she has this audio recording, how come she has not put this out publicly all this while? Maybe she wants to use it in court. Was it played at the Coroner inquest? No. She says she has the audio recording. Did she keep it? Did she keep it for a day like this? I still don't get that part of it. So she said she kept it. And Mohbad's father, no, I want to get that part of it. I want to balance that particular thing that she's saying. Is she saying Mohbad's father said, I know that it is not Cynthia, but let us put it on her? Because the man said, do you know if it is food that pied him? Do you know what else it could be? Let's come and sit and talk. It could be Mohbad's father's way of bringing Adura so that Adura can now say what he saw clearly. Do you understand that part? It could also be that Mohbad's father wanted to know from Adura what and what is it that we can as a family sit down and process on your brother, what he has, so that we can understand what and what we need to do and plan as a family, like together, which I believe it is not a crime. Now, she is saying it was a plot, and Mohbad's mother said no. Now, question is this: who recorded it? Did he call Cynthia's phone and then she recorded it? It's not making sense. So, is it Adura or Mohbad's mother that recorded it? Or they plotted among themselves? Then Mohbad's mother had already joined joined the tent of Cynthia. So they put it on call recording and recorded it. So they already plotted and planned what they needed to do. Like, this part is not clear. This brings Mohbad's mother into question. Like, normally, this thing that happened, the first thing is for you to liaise with the father of your late son, for you guys to discuss as a family. And even Adura, if he is not a young boy with a mind problem, that's a normal thing. Cynthia is not your family. Yes, if there is a marriage or even girlfriend and there is a child, you want to carry her along. It's okay. But in this situation, you want to know what happened. First, there's going to be a kind of demarcation in this scenario. Let us know. Come to me. Let us discuss and know what and what. Now, let us backtrack. So she said that when Mohbad's father came, Mohbad's father told them that the nurse should be let loose and she has no business with the nurse. Mohbad's father, according to Mohbad's mother, said that Prime Boy, I told Prime Boy to escape, that it is Cynthia that did this thing. Could it be that it has been said, typed to that number, where Mohbad's father went to for prayers or people that visited him, saying that this Cynthia is going to pie? So now that it has happened, it became glaring to him. It is Cynthia that pied my son. Now, let us go to the marriage part. I don't get that part clearly. Mohbad's father said clearly, this was not what we wanted. It was not a marriage. It was an introduction. But she is saying that Mohbad's father called me in the morning and prayed before he came. But Mohbad's father said it clearly on national TV, everywhere. It was not a plan. And he gave us references for us to peruse over. He said, how is it possible for me to go to such an event without my family member or informing them? Who does that? And I know that as a Yoruba man that he is, and he constantly says it, they like parties. So how is it that he will go there by himself? What kind of marriage is that? Like, I don't get it. He said that was not the plan. That it was when he got there that they put clothes on him. It was when he got there that this and that and that and that happened. Now, let us look at it. Is it that Mohbad's father said, let us do this marriage in a secret way? Even if it is going to be secret, let's say someone said this kind of marriage does not need noise. It has to be done quietly. It doesn't mean that it is your own family that will not be informed about it. But the family of Cynthia, all of them and his friends can be gathered. So that's not a quiet wedding. So there is something fishy about that part that is not clear. It is not clear. It's either Cynthia is not saying the truth, because Mohbad's father said it. And if you look at the picture of the so-called marriage, Mohbad's father was not happy. He was angry. His face didn't look like somebody that is happy. It looks like somebody who has been forced or someone who just didn't know what to do at that time. So that's my own personal observation about it. I don't think that marriage was something that he wanted at that time, because he said he had already observed certain characteristics that were okay for him, and Mohbad had complained, and he wanted to see the parents of Cynthia, particularly the father, so as to establish some kind of clarity in what he has observed and what they need to do, blah, blah, blah. So, end of story. Mohbad's so-called father-in-law, which doubles to be Cynthia's uncle, because what we heard is that two cousins bola themselves, and they produced Cynthia, according to Karimo. That's what they said happened. Now, Mohbad's father was blocked. He couldn't access the so-called father of Cynthia. Okay. Battle definitely began. Now, battle for ownership, control of Mohbad became Mohbad's mother on one side, Cynthia on one side, Mohbad's father on one side. Three forces against one person. Then two came together and one realized that he could not pull. That was the point that Mohbad's father, having gone to a place for prayer, he was told, if you want to get something from your son, knock the door. And what is the door? It is the pekus of Mohbad's mother. He had to knock it. He had no option. He knocked it, and the gates of blessings opened unto him. He gave us that story. And there he realized the power of a woman pekus, that it is not just to capture Samson with juju plus pekus. When juju and pekus mix together, you are finished. You are finished as a man. If you're a pekus lover, or you just cannot process it. If you're a man of destiny, you can't process things. And the worst is if you think that you that came out of your mother's pekus, you can, do anyhow. You might collect. You see, you might collect. And still also, Mohbad's father, being the man that has been carrying Mohbad in his body, at least a portion of it, up and down before he decided to release it to Mohbad's mother. I want to believe that to an extent, he also could have done certain things, but then maybe he just didn't process it clearly in his mind. He could have done some things right, but he didn't. Maybe one way or the other, some kind of mistakes here and there. The thing is, they all made mistakes. I'm talking about Mohbad's mother and Mohbad's father. But now mistakes have become, it has now become something that we just don't want to even talk about. It has become like an evil sight. Something evil to behold. That's what it has become. So Cynthia has said a lot of things. You've heard her. She has pointed to DNA. And she's making it clear, emphatically, that the DNA is not a big issue. Now, I'm going to relate this to what Mohbad's father said. The DNA is not an issue. But Mohbad's father said, and this is what is being said on the platforms of the Akpokojayes, women afraid of DNA, the coven as they call themselves, not me. This was what has been said there, that Mohbad's father said that the results of the DNA should not be made public. If that is what he said, I believe there is well, I don't know if there is a copy of whatever conversation. If that is what he said,